Hello and welcome to episode 32 of Missed Mando, Ontario's source for the latest in the disc golf world. I'm your host, Robbie Holden, joined as always by my friend and co-host, Sean Galbraith. We've got an interview-only special episode coming your way, and we are very excited to welcome on Cadence Burge to the show, just coming off of a fantastic fifth place finish at the Music City Open. And let's jump right into it. We'll be right back on Missed Mando. Our next guest joined the PDGA in 2015 and dominated in junior and amateur divisions in and around Alabama, winning 45 of the 65 events she played from 2015 to 2021. But in 2022, she ended her AM career in style, winning the Amateur World Championship in FA1 and winning the NADGT National Championships. In 2023 and 2024, she played 24 DGPT and major events, collecting 5 top 10s, including second at the Jacksonville Open Q Series. And so far in 2025, she won the City of Mobile Championships A tier and has played all 4 DGPT events so far, collecting 3 top 10s, including most recently 5th place at the Music City Open. It's a pleasure to welcome to the Missed Mando podcast from Huntsville, Alabama, Cadence Burge. Cadence, thanks so much for joining.
Yeah, of course, thanks for having me.
It is a pleasure to have you on. And judging by the way that Sean shook his head during that intro, I'm assuming I pronounced mobile. Is it mobile?
Mobile.
Okay, yeah. It even felt weird as I was saying it. So thanks for the confirmation there, Sean, with your avid head shaking. But Cadence, as we like to do with new guests on the show, let's take things back to the start of your disc golf journey. When and how did you originally find the sport? As someone that started playing at such a young age, I have to imagine playing with family was probably a big part of it at the start.
Yeah, so I started playing disc golf. Well, I played my first tournament when I was like 8 years old. At like just a local home course. It was actually the first full round of disc golf I had ever played. Before that, I was just like kind of throwing stuff. I wasn't keeping score or anything, just throwing with my dad, who I've been playing since like 2007 maybe. Like I think around when I was born, I think is when he started playing. And I was kind of, I was a kid. I didn't take it seriously, and he got me into tournaments, and it kind of became our thing for a while. I guess that's just kind of what we did together, made us closer. We just played disc golf.
How did your dad not sign you up with a PDJ number like the day that you were born? Like this, come on, he slowed down. He set you back a little bit there.
He did. I think if it was like today, that idea probably would have crossed his mind. But like back then, it was the same thing. He didn't take it seriously either. I mean, he didn't get a PDJ number until like 2012 or 13, I think, like a little bit before me, but not when he started playing. So he was just a casual golfer. He just go out by himself or like with a couple friends, something like during a lunch break, and throw some discs around. It's not like he was like an avid tournament player. He wasn't traveling or anything. But you're right, he kind of set me back with that.
So when you played your first tournament and your first full round at 8, I assume it was FJ10 or something like that? Did you win that event?
I think I was playing FJ. It wasn't FJ 10, 12, 15 at that point. It was like FJ4. It was like FJ4, 3, 2, 1. And it was probably FJ4. It was whatever the youngest one was I was playing. And I was most definitely playing by myself. And so I did win. I won this little backpack that I actually have a picture of it of me winning. I look so awkward in it. But in that tournament, I was playing with 2 other juniors, but they were both boys. And I think one of their moms was like walking with us. She was like our supervisor.
Chaperone.
Yeah, it was just like a one round of it. It was silly.
That sounds awesome. So basically, as long as you've been alive, you've basically had a disc in your hand.
Yeah, basically. I think in that tournament, I shot like plus 54 at this course.
Hey, that's better than a lot of my rounds.
Last week I played the same course and I shot 9 down, so we've got a big improvement since then.
It's awesome to have such a frame of reference for such a long period of time. That's very cool. So how long into your career did you first start thinking, hey, maybe I can go pro and join the tour? And now that you have done that, How are you enjoying it?
So I started playing in like 2015, and then I played for a couple years. I took a break, in like 2018 or 19 for a year. It wasn't fun anymore, and so I just stopped playing completely. I actually was signed up for a tournament one day, and I woke up and I was like, I don't really want to go, Dad. And he's like, okay, and I just didn't play for a year. And then I came back in like 2019, and I started playing a bunch during COVID, and I really wanted to go to Junior Worlds, but COVID got it canceled. And that, I think, is when I started watching like all the pro coverage, and I started looking up to all the other girls that were on tour. And I was like, man, that looks really fun. I think I want to do that. But I don't know if I really thought that I was gonna ever be good enough until maybe like 21 or 22, when I started going to like Am Worlds and Junior Worlds, and I was seeing how good I was compared to like other people in the country rather than just like the people around me in Alabama. And I think at that point is when I was like, huh, yeah, this is something that I think I want to do. And so I put a lot of time in, after 2022, especially in 2022 especially. Um, and now I'm here. It's pretty weird to be playing with all the people that you watch on coverage for so long, and you're like, all these people are like, I mean, I didn't watch any other sports, so I don't like know any other like famous people. So these are all the famous people to me. And then also I'm like finding myself on cards with them, and I'm finding myself on cards with them every week. I'm like, huh, like I'm like right here with these people. That's really like I'm almost becoming one of these people. It's odd.
You absolutely are one of those people.
I remember for myself and for us being up here in Canada, we obviously don't get like many like touring athletes that come up this way. So I remember Matt Bell came up for Canadian Nationals one year, and this was a player that I had seen on coverage for a long time, and it was like a starstruck sort of feeling actually getting to meet him in person. So what was that first like pinch me moment for you, where you were like, getting on a card with a certain player or something, where you were like, holy crap, like this is actually happening. I'm here playing with this person that I watched for so long. Do you remember that initial like big one?
I think okay, there's probably two. So the one like the first time where I played with touring pros was at an A tier. That was in 2022, I think, right after I went pro. After the Energy GT thing, I accepted cash and I played this big A tier that was in Charlotte. And I think I played with like Holly and Sarah Hokum and maybe Paige, like a really good field. And I mean, those are some of the people that I've been watching, like I said, for years. And I was just on a car with them, and yeah, they beat me by a lot. Well, let's say that they beat me by a lot. But it was just that experience of like seeing their shots compared to mine, and it was crazy to be on the same car as these people. I know my dad felt the same way. He's like, I can't believe my daughter's like playing with these touring pros right now. But the second one was in 2023 at U.S. Women's. I played good in the first round of U.S. Women's and got a card with Krista Guitar in the second rounds. And like, I had so many messages of people like, I cannot believe you're playing with Krista Guitar tomorrow. That is amazing. You got to get me a disc. You got to get a signature for me. And I mean, I was starstruck just watching her. I think she won it a bit too. And I was like, just thinking, like, oh, she was on my card and she went on to win. Like, that could have been me. Like, she's so good. How is she this good?
Real shocking to hear that Kristen won a tournament that she was in. It feels like that happens a lot these days. But that is super cool to hear. And now, one of the things that I thought was really cool hearing you talk about how you got into it was the role of YouTube videos of disc golf coverage, which obviously now is become a huge factor in the growth of disc golf, and just having that coverage, having especially for young girls to be able to see FPO players that are out making a living playing professionally is a huge inspiration. And now as you're getting into the tour, getting on camera more, there's going to be young girls that are looking at you with that same sort of aspiration, and will probably have that same sort of freak out moment when they make it to tour and get to play on a card with you, which is super cool. But we've also had some other young players on the show, including Luke Taylor and Elizra Midling, who are very young, getting on to tour. how has being on tour for you compared to sort of your pre-tour expectations for being for being on tour? And what's your touring setup like? Are you traveling with friends, family? Are you doing the van life? What's everything look like for you on tour?
I'm not really sure about expectations. Honestly, it's kind of similar to what I thought it was gonna be, which is like a little lonely since I feel like I haven't like really like found a tour group that I'm with. But currently it depends on what tournament I'm going to. I say a majority of the time last year I would go with my friend whose name is Bo, and he would play on the NPO side, and we'd go together, and we'd stay in like a hotel or an Airbnb. Um, we're not for the van life. um, for some tournaments, especially for the bigger ones, and a lot this year. Like I'm going to Europe. I'm traveling with my grandparents, who are a big part of helping me be able to travel, and why I'm able to even do this. Because it's expensive, especially when you're not living in a van every week. Um, so I'll be with my family, and yeah, that's what we'll do. So as a little group. Sometimes, I guess I have a couple of friends that sometimes we'll split Airbnbs with, but it kind of depends.
That sounds fun. I imagine there's some learning experience, like learning how to tour, um, that you've had to sort of figure out. We've had some other pros on, talking about when they first started touring, like learning about, um, where to do laundry on tour, and the Planet Fitness, where the nearest one is, so you can, grab a shower or whatever. That's more of a van life thing, and
Yeah.
not so much a hotel thing. But are there certain things about being on tour that you've had to sort of learn how to do?
Honestly, for me, not exactly, because I've still never been away from my house for more than 3 weeks. The longest I've gone anywhere is for 3 weeks, so it's always I just go somewhere and then I come home. I go somewhere and then I come home because I'm still in school. So only real thing I've had to learn is balancing school with disc golf, because I mean I have a lot of things that I have to do in person, so I have to be able to come back and do that while also being able to get all my work done online. But I mean, I've been traveling and going to like tournaments and skipping school and doing all this kind of stuff. I mean, since 2020, we've been just going to A tiers in the worlds, and I'll miss all the school in the world to just miss a couple weeks.
How so that I mean that raises the question, how are you finding balancing school obligations and tour obligations? Do you have to skip certain events because, at some point you probably have to, attend class or something? I imagine it's a little bit tough when all of the tournaments are 3 days long, and plus travel and plus practice and whatever. How are you finding your ability to sort of balance those two responsibilities?
It's definitely a lot better this year. This is my first year that I'm gonna like full tour. But the previous years that I've been going to some of the events, I was still in person school in high school, so obviously I do have to go to classes. I have to take my tests in class, and I can't just always be gone. My teachers, like, they're not just can't just leave forever. And so I think it kind of limited exactly where I could go. There was definitely a lot of events that I maybe had to think about skipping until I couldn't just be gone for that long. But now for my senior year, I'm doing like an online program, like in my city, which doesn't actually require me to have like in-person classes, but it does require me to go take my tests in person. But so far I've been pretty good at scheduling those around the events. Like right now, I'm home for a couple days, and I'm gonna be home next Monday and Tuesday before I leave for a while. And so I know that those are the days that I need to go schedule my tests before I leave for a while. I go to Champions Cup, go to California. But the only events I'm gonna have to miss because of school are the ones on the West Coast, the Northwest Championship and Portland, or maybe not Portland.
Cascade Challenge?
Cascade, yes.
Yeah.
Those two, I believe I'm gonna have to miss those right after Champions Cup. I need to be back in Huntsville by Tuesday to have a test. That's at 8 a.m. And
Fun.
throughout that week. So yeah, gotta fly all the way back. That sounds really
Have
fun.
do your like, do your friends know? Does the school know that you are a touring professional disc golf player? Like, are you signing autographs in the hall? Like, what's what's the local vibe like?
Um, I mean, my friends know, like my group of friends. I don't know, like, because most people I know, like, they don't really know disc golf. I don't think they understand the level. Also, I'm not really like in an athletic group. Like, all my friends are into sports, so they don't know, like, they don't know about golf or or basketball. I mean, they don't know exactly what level this means. But my school, I would say, relatively does know. They actually, in the online one I am, there's another kid who goes to my school, who is a golfer, and I think is also trying to do that professionally, and he's like on that trajectory. And so my counselor is like always reaching out to me. In fact, the other day, like she had me answer, like fill out this giant questionnaire about disc golf, because she wanted to put it in the yearbook. She wanted me to have a page like all about disc golf and all about the tournaments I've been playing. And so they do know about it, but I'm not exactly sure if they understand like what kind of level it is. If you know what I mean? But no, there's no autograph, and I'm not studying autographs at school.
One day,
Maybe,
it'll
maybe.
come. Yeah. Well, we recently on the show had on Rebecca Dawn, who is fairly local to us here in Ontario, and she started her year this year with a bit of a mini tour. Had a nice performance at the Open at Austin, and now is back home and having to go back to school. And when we had her on, she was talking about how like that's sort of mindset of like it's kind of a bummer being back and having to do schoolwork after being out and playing disc golf on the pro tour for a while. So when you have to come back, even with it being more online, you don't have to actually attend class. When you have to come back home and focus on actual schoolwork for a little bit, do you find that same sort of thing? Like, oh, this is kind of a bummer. I just want to play disc golf right now.
Yeah, it's a little sad. And plus, I mean, with all the live coverage, you're sitting there at home doing schoolwork with the live coverage pulled up on your phone, like watching the other players play. You're like, damn, why am I not there with these people right now? Like, I could be right there. It is. It's a little sad.
Alas. Next year, maybe.
Maybe. We're doing online college next year, so I don't know if that'll be better or worse.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
I can't spell. So.
So at the Mobile Championships, you led the event from start to finish, and you beat out some pretty big name veterans, including Kona Montgomery and Holly Finley. In your final round, you were on fire. You shot 10-20, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
What clicked for you that round to really put you over the top and win by a whopping 15 strokes, I think it was?
I'm not even really sure. I think the course that we were playing really suited how I play. It was a pretty wood course, with wider fairways, with shorter par fours that really required a lot of placement shots. And so I think already going into it, I knew that this is a course that I could do really well at, which I think when you're in a good mindset for the course, you also can play better. But I was super nervous in the beginning. Like, I hit one of the first trees on hole one, and I was like, oh no, like, what if, like, I have like a 6-stroke lead? What if I blow this somehow? And then I like park hole 2 and 3. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I'm okay. And the rest of it, like, all my shots just went down the fairway. They always went down the fairway. When I would putt, they would go in the basket just every time. And at some point, I was just like, okay, this is about to be like the best round ever, or my best round ever, not the best round ever. I don't know. I mean,
it's a bold strategy. Put the disc in the fairway and then in the basket.
I know
it's something I've never experienced. I'm gonna have to look and try that.
Like, sometimes it just you're doing it right, but then you're like, it's got to stop eventually. Like, eventually, it's gonna stop working. Because I mean, it's been working too well the past couple holes, but they just never stopped. Like, it just kept going down the fairway, and it kept working. And I was like, well, I mean, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. So,
what style? So you said it was a fairly technical wooded course.
Yeah, it was a really wooded course. There was only 1 or 2 holes that were in the open. The rest of them were pretty tight fairways.
Is that sort of your favorite kind of course to play? Do you like the technical woods?
Yeah, that's definitely my preferred style. This is probably one of my favorite courses. Honestly, that course is probably one of my new favorite courses Like I would say my favorite course, just that you might know, is probably Northwoods. So I wouldn't say it is Northwoods, but just comparatively, like that's kind of golf I like. So yes.
I'd say it's pretty easy to really love a course when you shred that much on it too. I think the good vibes tend to bleed over a little bit. But so far this year, you've played, like I mentioned, all four DGPT events so far. It was your third time playing the Open in Austin, Open at Austin, and MCO, and it was your second time playing the Florida tournament and at Waco. Do you find any difference in the tournament experience at events you've played multiple times versus when you're playing them for the first time? Whether it's obviously being a little more familiar with the course and the area, or any of those aspects that come in. Do you notice any difference?
Yeah, I think a little bit. I like going in already knowing the holes and like prior to the tournament being able to think about it and like imagine what I'm gonna do when I get there, versus like a tournament where I have no clue. Like I'm going in completely blind. Um, I'm not really a person that likes to play a bunch of practice rounds. Like I just don't have the energy for it, or the focus for it, honestly, a bunch of the time.
Yes.
And so I prefer to only play like one or two before the honestly just like one or two before the event is perfectly fine with me. And obviously when you're only playing one or two, you're not getting nearly as much practice. So having the prior year to also have your mind on like where exactly your disc landed last time and kind of thinking about that. But the other problem with that is that like my distance is always changing. Like going into MCO, for example, I like imagine like what I did last year. I got up to the hole, tried to do that same shot, and it went way too far. And I was like, "Whoa, way different disc now. Need to throw something else in that." There's a lot of changes with it also, but I like that because I can see like the improvement in myself, like knowing that clearly, like I can throw a different disc now. I'm clearly gaining distance, and I'm gaining different shots I didn't have before.
Well, clearly, clearly it was working pretty well for you at MCO. How do you enjoy that course, and what are your thoughts on the tournament this past weekend?
So honestly, the past 2 years when I've played that course, I absolutely hate it. Like that might have been my least favorite tournament I played besides Jonesboro. I despise both of those courses. But I think that was partly because I was really looking down on myself for how far I was throwing. I just felt like I couldn't compete with anybody because of that. And this year when I came out there, I've been feeling a little better recently, and I started throwing those shots and be like, huh, like I'm landing where everybody else is. I'm kind of feeling better about myself. And I think I went into the tournament this year with a lot more confidence in being able to do good. I think I actually looked at my dad. I'm like, I'm gonna do a lot better this tournament this year. Just don't worry, do a lot better. I think last year I got 19th. Um, so that felt a lot better. Definitely felt like I improved a lot.
How did you find it was playing in the weather that you had in Tennessee there? It was pretty wild on coverage to watch. Um, did it? Do you think that it affected your game much? Because I mean, you played really well in it.
So it didn't rain for us, which was good, but it was decently windy and muddy. Um, And I would say the wind always affects me. Like it affects me especially mentally, like when I'm throwing and putting. But I actually used it pretty well this week. I didn't find myself making a lot of mistakes because of the wind. I make good decisions. The mud, I would say, was probably in my mind even more than the wind somehow. I had a couple slips this weekend. Um, one of my bogeys and the double bogey I took were both because I like slipped terribly
Mm.
and almost fell down. um, and so I was very careful when I was throwing shots after that. I think so. It definitely affected how I was throwing shots and the power I was using. You could tell it affected everybody that way. I mean, just by watching the coverage.
No doubt.
I'm sure that's why I didn't watch the final round. But before I was actually saying how Silva probably would have an advantage because of how good she is with her standstills, because she's not throwing run ups. And so I actually really liked her chances because of that. Because Kristen was going to try to walk up in that mud, which is really hard and really touchy.
You mentioned mental game and Silva's standstill. Are those aspects of your game that you're working on, or what part of your game do you want to try and develop more?
I mean, I would say I'm kind of working on them. Um, I think they're also improving, like, with age, like, just as I get older, like, it's getting a little better. Um, but there's also the part where, I mean, as you get better, then you expect yourself to do better, which kind of bounces it out. But I think the thing that the thing that I definitely should be working on is to get a forehand, because I have absolutely no forehand. And one of my caddies was even like, we need to go out in the field and just have a day where we just throw forehands, because you'd be so good. Like, you really need this shot. But I just throw my turnovers, and they just seem to work. But obviously, for every scenario, that does not necessarily work. But
Feels like as the FPO division just keeps pushing the envelope, having a forehand seems to be becoming more and more important.
yeah, I agree. It's just that I see Silva play, and Silva just does it so well. I mean, and Isaac Robinson, I mean, they all do it so well without a forehand. And I shouldn't accept that I'm one of those people. I should definitely strive to have a forehand, I think. Um, but it is very discouraging to watch the forehand I have right now compared to their forehands. I just don't have that natural movement that a bunch of other people have. They'll play other sports in their life, and they'll kind of gain that movement. But disc golf is all I've really ever played seriously. So that just does not come naturally at all to me.
I used to forehand for me is has always been my biggest like work in progress, and I used to always say that if James Conrad can win USDGC, that I don't need a forehand in my bag.
That's my mindset.
Yeah, a backhand player can do well on a forehand course, but then you play, like, for me, a buddy of mine that I play with a lot. He only throws forehands, so I'm constantly seeing these cool lines that he can do with forehands, and it got to the point where I'm like, okay, I gotta at least try some of this at least.
Yeah, the friend that I travel with is lefty, so I mean I see all the forehand lines, but left-handed basically. So I think it's similar. Also, I saw someone say, but I don't have no idea who it was. I think it was some media outlet said that NCO was a lefty slash forehand course. So I'm just saying, I did find the lefty forehand course with only backhands. So I only think
Absolutely.
forehands this weekend.
Holding it down to the right hand backhand dominant, folks.
Huh?
Sorry, we talked over each other there. I said it's not like a lefty won the event.
Yeah,
Austin Turner did pretty well, but he didn't take it down.
he didn't win. He should have made that pawn 17.
Yeah, he totally should have.
Yeah. It also, earlier in that answer, you had said something about evolving and getting better with age. And I think Sean died a little bit inside as somebody who has had more than double the amount of years as you on this planet. And I don't think has done much growth or evolving in that time. So I think Sean died. Yeah, I mean, we got to keep each other humble here as great co-hosts.
I crumble,
but yeah, you're ancient, Sean. Jeez. But anyways, Cadence, you are currently ranked 26th in the PDGA World Rankings and 11th in the DGPT Tour points. And we mentioned, of course, you had a great performance at MCO and 2 other top 10s as well. So looking back on the start of your season so far, how are you feeling about the start to your season?
I'm definitely feeling pretty good about it, because last year I didn't have any top 10s at all. But I did have a top 10 in 2023. So I had that on my mind that I could do it, and I spent the entire last season not doing it over and over and over again. And I just started to think that maybe I couldn't do it anymore. And so when I finally came out this year, in the first event I was able to get a top 10, it felt like I was finally just like doing what I'm supposed to do. Not even what I can do. I was like, why haven't I just been doing this every time? But it's weird because I don't feel like I didn't spend a lot of the off season like grinding in the field and trying to make my my throw's better. It's just something just kind of clicked, and I guess gained a little bit of consistency maybe, and was able to finally put rounds together instead of having a bunch of bad holes that held me back. Um, and yeah, it's felt good. It's made me feel a lot more excited for the rest of the season, a lot more hopeful for what I can be doing, especially after not making the tour championships last year. This definitely been a better start.
That is a absolutely perfect segue into what I was going to follow up on that question and asking, how are you feeling about the rest of the season for the rest of 2025? You mentioned being on like full tour. You're going to Europe this year as well. So like, which events are you looking forward to the most? Is there one that you're eyeing up as like, I'm assuming probably one of the ones in Europe are probably one of the ones that you're most excited for, but maybe one that you've played before that you're looking forward to being back on and having another shot at taking down a tournament there, and any season goals that you have for 2025.
Honestly, I'm looking forward to all my events this year since I'm getting to do a full tour. I'm definitely excited about the Europe thing. I am going for a full month, so I'm going to Crokle and to European Disc Golf Festival and to Worlds. And you probably most excited for Worlds being in Europe. I've never been to Europe before, so I think that experience is going to be awesome, and I'm really excited to get over there. Um, I think the only Pro Tour I'm playing other than Europe that I haven't played before, I've never played Des Moines, and now it's Discmania Challenge. So it's my own sponsor on a course I've never played before, which I think is going to be really cool. I've watched it a lot, and I'm really excited to play that course. I don't remember what the first part of your question was, but for the second part, for the goals part, um, after seeing the start of my season, I would say that my new goal is probably to maybe make All Stars if I can. But the original goal was probably just to make the Pro Tour Championships. But kind of after seeing where I am, I think that making All Stars would be really good. And I think everybody has number one goal to win a Pro Tour event. So there's that too.
Solid goals for the year. I think you're going to have such a blast in Europe. Europe is amazing. And to be playing on tour there will be incredible. You mentioned the Discmania Challenge. You are on Discmania's Shield team. How long have you been sponsored by Discmania? How did that come about? And let's do a little mini in the bag. What are some of your most important discs that always get some play in tournaments?
Oh, okay. So many questions.
Yeah,
okay,
lots of questions.
So I think I've been sponsored for 5 years now. I think in 2020 is when I first got sponsored. And I got that when Eagle was still on Team Discmania, his girlfriend is actually from here. Her name is Ratana. She's from Huntsville. And I already knew her. I knew her prior, and she introduced me to Eagle. And so Discmania started doing this, call. I guess it was like a call for FPO players because they don't really have a lot on their team. I don't even know if they had any at that time, really, because I can't think of who was before me and Ella, and Cynthia. But Ratana sent me the link to fill out this application thing. I filled it out. I think Eagle gave me a strong recommendation to them, which I'm gonna guess is how I really got that sponsorship, according to who I've talked to. And they chose 2 players to join the Discmania team from that, and it was me and Ellie Hansen. So we both joined at the same exact time, except for she was on the Pro Tour, I think, and I was still an AM. And yeah, that's how I got sponsored. And I was on the junior team for 2 or 3 years, and then I moved up to the pro team. And this year was this is my first year on Shield team, so I'm now part of the touring players, which is pretty cool. And so in the bag, So currently, I'd say my main distance driver, on all these super long courses, is a Paradigm, which is people I've talked to describe it as like a beat-in DD3-ish. DD3s are a little stable for me, so I really like the Paradigm. It has some good stability for me, and I can beat it in, get some turn. I am putting with Exosoft Links. I've played with them for all 5 years. I've never switched. They're working for me. I love them. I was top 10 of both C1 and C2 putting last year, so they work the same.
It's clearly working very, very well. What do you like about the link for your putting style?
So the links are a beaded putter, and I really like. I mean, honestly, I can putt with or without a bead, but I do like the way it feels on my finger. I have my finger on top of the disc when I'm putting, so I can kind of feel it there. And they're a little bit stable, and I like that in my putter. I like to have a little bit of stability. I think it makes them more predictable. I do put on a little bit of hyzer, and I always know I really always know where my disc is going to go, which is good. I really like them as a throwing putter also, so they're good they're good for everything.
So you're now showing up on more cards that have cameras following them. We've seen your rounds covered at AM Worlds, the CCR Open, and now MCO, just to name a few. How do you like being on coverage? Do you find that the cameras add any extra pressure or affect your game at all, or is it just another day in the office?
So I really like being on camera actually. I wouldn't say that cameras necessarily add more pressure. Like, for example, at CCR, like if there was cameras there versus if there wasn't cameras there, I don't think it would have made a difference for me. I put enough pressure on myself. I mean, the fact that I was playing with Owen and Christian Attar, I mean, I didn't need the cameras there for any sort of pressure. Same for MCO. I mean, it didn't matter if we were being live streamed. I was still there playing with all these people, and I already feel pretty anxious during tournaments, anyways. So I mean, a lot anxious versus like maybe like this much more anxious. I mean, but I really like being recorded because I actually really like to go back and rewatch everything that I'm in. I don't know why. Me and my dad especially will go back if I'm on live coverage. Like I was on the feature card for MCO, and the second we got back to Airbnb, turned it on, watched the entire coverage, start to finish, all of it, just to hear like everything the commentators would say and to rewatch all my shots. So I really like being on camera.
Do you find that getting that replay, like, are you sort of like, I'm thinking like football coaches where they're like, okay, we're going to break down this and this play and whatever. Like, are you analyzing your round when you rewatch it, or are you just sort of watching it for the fun and it just kind of, it doesn't almost feel like you playing?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think the thing I like is I guess I sort of analyze it because when I'll go back, I'll be kind of explaining my thought process to whoever I'm watching it with. Like if I'm watching it with my dad, who isn't on the bag for me, I can kind of be like, "Oh, this is why I did that," or "This is kind of what I was thinking," and like maybe I should have done this. Like I know now that was probably my choice. And so I guess there is a little bit of analyzing and just like kind of rethinking what I did and reconsidering some stuff.
So changing gear a little bit here, silly question. You easily have the longest hair on tour. I think that is a fair observation. It is it is truly like Disney princess amazing hair length. Does it ever get in the way when you or become an issue when you're throwing? Like us us guys, we have like it's not an issue. Our hair length it has
Showing.
never become an issue. But like it. I mean, first of all, it looks fantastic on camera.
Thank you.
And has it ever interfered with the actual gameplay?
I mean, honestly, I would say not really. Like, it's never gotten in my way personally. But I do get that from a lot of people. They'll be like, "Oh, I don't know how you play with that. Like, I think that would bother me to get in my way." But I don't ever find that it like affects a shot that I throw. I mean, sometimes they'll like swing and like hit me, but I don't think I can recall a single time where I've thrown a shot and be like, "Ugh, why did my hair's got in the way of that? Like, I would have made that play."
I
I
mean, there was it certainly as you get more coverage and stuff, you're going to have some pretty amazing like pro tour like photos of like the hair like fanning out behind you like mid drive. It's going to be absolutely epic.
Yeah, we already have a couple. There's a couple of cool ones out there. Um, It's kind of a thing that I guess it's gonna try to be my brand, I guess. Because when we did the media day, we were supposed to bring an item that like represents our brand, and I was like, I don't have a brand. What item am I supposed to bring? I was like, I guess I'm just gonna tell them my hair is my brand. And so then we were trying to like take photos. We were trying to use a fan to like get it up and around me. It wasn't working very well, but I think we had to do something that kind of got it a little bit of a cool way. But we were trying to work with that.
I saw a video. Awesome. I saw a video recently. I believe it was on your Instagram page, and it was just a reel of you throwing, and the way your hair snapped down into the power pocket as you pulled through, like it was actually helping and like assisting your throw. It just looked so perfect. So I think leaning into it as a brand worked. Plus, it's a brand that you literally take everywhere. So I mean,
yeah, it's true.
Just kind of works.
It's always with me. I'm recognizable.
Yeah.
Well, one of the places that we wanted to, with all the touring pros that come on our show, we want to give a plug for a tournament that we think you should play, and we would love to see you here for the Canadian Nationals. So Canadian Nationals takes place on the weekend between D-Glow and GMC, and it is literally on the road, on the drive between the two of them. There are still FPO spaces available for touring pros. So I just throwing it out there. Maybe you want to add Canadian Nationals and be the Canadian champion to your list of accolades.
I've never been to Canada, so very possible.
So bring the passport to D-Glow, and if you're driving between the two, just drive through Canada and you will hit the course. It is literally on the way between the two of them.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
There you go. There are some other notable FPO who are going to be playing there. Chantel Badinsky's going to be playing it. Taylor Chosek is signed up. Rebecca Dawn, Sophia Donica, they're signed up. Maybe just shameless plug from one of the helpers on the tournament. That
how much added cash is there?
Let me just see. I don't know.
Quickly take a peek. I mean, you're already going to Europe this year. Add Canada and just make it your international season. Really start checking off some boxes.
Yeah, you're right. I got to get to all the countries.
It's an A tier. I think it's a throw pink qualifier.
The Q series as well.
It's a Q series as well.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So it's add to. It's all the things. So have a look. I'll send you a link.
Shameless plug, Adam.
100% shameless. Zero. No shame.
Yeah. But we would absolutely love to see you out on those courses. That would be awesome for sure. I do got to agree with Sean there. But Cadence, before we let you go, and first of all, thank you so much for all of your time here with us this evening. But before we let you go, we'd like to hit you with a few lightning round questions that we ask all of our new guests here. So just some quick answers, whatever comes to your mind first. Pretty easy. We don't do anything hard hitting here. And I'll give you a nice softball to start. What's your favorite course?
Probably Northwoods Black.
I think if we tabulated all the answers to that question, I think Northwood has the most votes so far.
It deserves it.
And the answer to the second question might be the same as the first. What is the hardest course that you've ever played?
Oh no, I have no clue off the top of my head. I don't even know if I'd be able to tell you that. The problem is I'm gonna have to go through every course I've ever played, and that's not really gonna work right now.
What's been the hardest course you've had on tour this year so far?
This year, Sprinkle Valley by far. I mean, I'm sure you looked at the stage. You saw how bad I played out there.
No.
It's definitely.
It was a challenge.
That was probably the hardest course, for me so far. That by far. I wouldn't say honestly though. I can't think about the overall off the top of my head, but it probably wouldn't be Northwoods actually. From our layout, it probably isn't the hardest course in the world. I'm sure there's something harder. From the MPO layout, I'm sure. I don't even want to touch that. I don't even want to. I don't want to do that. There's had to be something harder that I played though.
Well, next time we have you on, we'll do a follow up then, and we'll get the definitive answer for that question. But next one for
it might be Winthrop. It might be Winthrop. For me, Winthrop is extremely hard. I was not good at that course at all, so that might be my answer for now.
Well, revenge time then at Throw Pink this year.
I can only hope.
Yeah. All right, next one for you. One sport to play or watch other than disc golf. What are you choosing?
Just one. One of my favorite to watch is I really like watching volleyball. If I have to play, I really like playing pickleball, but I don't really watch pickleball. But so that I guess watching and playing have a little different answers.
You wouldn't
That's
be
two
a pro
pickleball
disc
answers
golfer.
that we've got recently. Macy Valadias we had on recently and also answered pickleball.
I know. Apparently, it's a disc golfer thing to do now. So I had to join.
Can you even be a pro disc golfer if you don't also pickleball? I think they have the PDGA rules.
I don't think you can.
Yeah. So next question, what song makes you instantly turn up the volume to max and sing your heart out?
I have no idea. There's no way I'm going to be able to come up with an answer for that. I have no idea.
Apparently, Robbie oversold the no hard question intro to the lightning round.
I'm not good at answering questions, bro. They did this during the media day thing. I was awful at it. I sat there and was like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a song. I have no clue. I can't even think of like an idea of a song.
What is music, really?
Well, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what kind of music I listen to.
I'll take you off the hook for next one, and I'll jump in and say, what's your favorite place to stop for food on a road trip? You're like super hungry, and you start to like dream about a fast food
sign in the distance.
Yeah. What are you dreaming of?
Right now, it's probably because of where I live. We don't have any of these, so it might be Cane's because there just isn't one here at all. And so every time we leave the area and we see one, it's like we have to go there. Like we're just attracted to it. I don't even know if it's the best tasting one. It's just like where we always go because we don't have any here. And so we see one, gotta go there.
We had someone on the show, I think, recently. Was it Macy who also said Cane's? I forget. We have no idea what that is.
It may have been Macy, but we don't have Cane's up here in Canada, unfortunately. But I think we've actually heard it from multiple pros at this point. So I think Cane's is going to have to be on my list when I make it in the southern U.S.
You gotta go try it.
Now, I fear that this next question will be similar to the music question, but just in case,
please don't be about music.
It's not about music. It's nothing to do with music. What movie never gets old, no matter how many times you watch it?
So, one that I've watched a lot is probably The Princess Bride. I'm sure that's a classic. That's
my era.
It's a good answer. Yeah, it's an older one. More recently, I really like The Hunger Games, specifically just the first movie and the second movie, not the rest of it, just the first two movies. I can watch the other bunch. So it's my answer.
I think those are the only two of the Hunger Games movies that I've seen. So good to know that.
Don't watch them. They're all bad.
Good to know that I can stop there now. Thank you for the heads up. One more question for you, Cadence, and this one's the most important. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Could it be like super specific?
Yeah, you can be as general as you want with it. It'd be sort of broad ranged superpower. I don't know.
Does it have to be like like one of the basic superpowers, or can I invent? I can invent a superpower.
Be as creative as you want.
Okay, well then my superpower would be for my disc to go wherever I wanted it to go, exactly where I wanted it to go every single time I threw it, and then I would just
That's pretty good.
And then I would every turn, but I'd be rich. That's what I want.
Go out for a round of 18 and shoot 18.
But also for nobody would know I had the power. Like it would just happen, And so I could also like fake being bad, like I'll fake it like messing up a little bit. So like because I can't give it away that it's all perfect, right? And so I'd still lose some events just so people don't know, because they knew I might get kicked out, and so I'd be good with it, and I would like not win every event, but like a lot of my shots would be really good though. But I would
Like whatever the son's name is in The Incredibles, that he's running a track meet and has to run a little slower than he's capable of, so he doesn't give himself away. That was a perfect little breakdown for how you'd assess it.
Yep.
Well, Caden, thank you so much again for all your time. Before we let you go, do you have any shout outs to sponsors or anything, any final comments that you would like to give? The floor is all yours.
Yep, I'll give shout outs to my sponsors. Discmania, Monkey Grip, Birdie Bags, and Disrespect. And also a shout out to my sister who just texted me to give her a shout out because she's listening to me right now. So shout out to you too.
Perfect sibling behavior there.
I could hear her laughing at me right now.
That is perfect. Well, Cadence, thank you so much for coming on and joining us tonight. This was a great interview, and good luck the rest of the season. Enjoy your time over in Europe, and fingers crossed, maybe we'll see you here up in Canada at some point.
Maybe we'll see. Thank you for having me on.
Awesome. Thanks again, Cadence, and we will be right back here on Missed Mando. Welcome back to Missed Mando. Thank you so much to Cadence once again for coming on and joining the show. Very fun interview. I will certainly be rooting for her the rest of this season. And as we tried to goat her into saying guaranteed yes, hopefully we'll see her up in Canada. Hopefully she can fit that into her schedule. But that is going to do it for us here on this special interview-only episode of Missed Mando. For Sean Galbraith, I'm Robbie Holden, and we will see you on the course.